For international students in Canada, what would be the top 3 pieces of advice to prepare for immigrating to Canada?
So as we talked about, express entry create a little bit of a problem for international students. By the way, before I forget, the 2016 plan, they are considering giving additional point for international students under express entry. I haven't seen anything yet in action, but I expect to see something next to 3 to 6 months. Stay tuned on that one. For international students, if you finish at least a 2-year program in college or university, you'll be able to get the postgraduate work permit for the length of 3 years. So usually it's a really good transition plan if you want to come to Canada, study for 2 years, work for 1 year. In most cases, if the 1-year work experience qualifies you and your college or university is the designated learning institution, you'll be eligible to apply for Canadian Experience Class, which requires only 4 items. You want to live outside of Quebec. You want to, you have done the 1-year work experience, paid work experience in a qualified occupation. Your employer actually verifies that you actually did perform those jobs. And number 4, you pass your English test. It's a pretty straightforward kind of program. Unfortunately, when express entry comes in, that international students have to go through the first, has to be picked by Immigration Canada to get invited to apply for Canadian Experience Class. So if you finish your high school in your home country, come to Canada, finish the 2-year college degree, work for 1 year, and did really good English, in my opinion, it's going to be between 429 to 433 point out of 600 express entry point. Last 16 months, the lowest express entry point was 450. So those students that we need to work out, that you need to work 1 more year, for example, you may have to increase your English skill, or you have to learn second language, French or English, depending on which one is your first language. Potentially, you may have to go back to school. So those are the things that you have to really think about. Top 3 advice I have is, number 1, plan early. Don't plan it when you are graduating. You have to plan it a little bit earlier than that. Number 2, you have to assess what you have from home country. So if you did a bachelor degree from home country, or if you did a work experience in home country, you have to plan it a little bit ahead, so what kind of point you may end up with. Number 3, because of Ontario specifically, we have an international master graduate program. Before you apply for a postgraduate work permit, you have to decide whether you already have a job that it's going to get you qualified, or you're going to look for a job. Because if you're wasting 6, 7, 8 months to looking for a job that qualifies you out of 3 years, you're going to have a problem getting enough work experience to be qualified. So in that sense, I usually ask a client that, would you rather work, or would you do 1 more study in master program, depending on your qualification? So you have to make that decision as well. Just to be, I'm sure a lot of people know about this, but postgraduate work permit is once in a lifetime. So once you use it, you never can get it again. It's a special work permit just for the international student. So just be aware before you apply for it, that you know that's the only and single time that you can actually get. So plan early. Really know your background as to the what is a maximum point you can work out. Number 3, do you really want to do the postgraduate work permit, or is a master program work better for you based on your life circumstances? Here's a bonus point. If you are still in school system, please do an internship, job shadowing, do any kind of work that you want to get the qualified job when you graduate. Get your experience right from the beginning. Don't just study all the time. You graduate, start looking, it's very difficult to get a job. But if you just do a summer job, and potentially that workplace like you and think you have a great skill set, they can hire you back right after the graduation. So that's something I really encourage international students to take note of that.